Odele Bado.
Hail Santa.
Hail Santa.
Hail Santos El Helper.
Well, Jesus Christ, I mean, that music sure did scare the goddamn Rona away from me. What up, y'all?
Are we going to tell everybody? Mikey caught the Rona.
I got the Ronas.
Hey, actually, so a year ago we got it, and then now you have it.
Yeah, right.
It just cycles, you know.
Yep. So.
All right.
Hey.
So tonight we're going to be
everybody.
finishing off talking about Dahmer.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year, guys.
Dizzy, hello.
Just Happy New Year.
Hey, Calvin.
Hey, what's up, Calvin?
What's up, Calvin? You
I
gotta
already
watch
brought
out.
up Dizzy's and said hi.
I didn't say it then. I said it now. I like Dizzy's nice.
Dizzy's awesome. By the way, guys, SAS is coming up. Make sure to go vote for Disaster, Sykes, and Lico. And I feel like I'm missing somebody. And Dizzy, please remind me.
Yes.
Artsy, I know, is one of them.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't what's her name? Vice Versa, one of them?
Vice? I don't know.
Vice Versa is not one of the Nightmare Clowns.
I think she's one of those World of
okay.
Terror like that.
Hi,
So she's in Scotland. So.
Hey, Bobby.
Hi, Natalie. Boberto.
Happy New Year, guys. Happy last day of 2021.
Yes, Happy New Year's.
I'd like to take a quick moment and say rest in peace to Betty White.
Oh, yeah.
I actually cried.
That leaves us with one more.
Who?
Because we lost Madden. We lost Betty White.
We lost John Madden. We lost Betty White. Who's the next one now? Well, actually, you know what? In other news, we did lose a guy named Half Pint from one group called Project Born or something like that.
What?
We also lost. Well, what's her face? Kanye and all them. And like,
okay, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories, but that was she was a manager of Kanye West and Nicki Minaj and all that stuff, and then going into the whole what's her face Epstein and Gosling.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
that's
a
deep rabbit hole we can dive into, but
a manager for a lot of the Hollywood elite.
Nicki Minaj, Kanye West, all of them.
They said it was based, or they said it was her boyfriend, but who knows? I mean, it's just all this stuff is way too happy. Yar, Natalie.
So Disaster, Lico, Sykes, Munchie, and Artsy.
Yeah,
check them out, guys. Nightmare Clowns.
What we discussed it in the back chat. Should we actually just say it now?
Gotta get my bandoleros out before midnight.
Bobby lives down the road from me.
Yeah.
Robert, sorry, Bobby. We know him as Bob
Happy
Berto.
Yar.
It's the rated R New Year. The pirate rated R New Year.
Yar.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of pirates and everything like that, you want to know why pirates wear an eye patch?
Why?
Because according to what I heard, that if you cover one eye in the dark,
it gets rid of blind. No, it really does get rid of night blindness. If you go like this when the lights are coming on, or you'll get used to you'll blind this eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. You got it.
The reality of it is that back in those days, if you got your eye ripped out or something like that, you're more than likely going to die from the infection. There was especially if you're on the high seas and stuff like that.
It's the new year for pirates. Arr!
Yarg.
Yarg.
Guys, real fast. Before we start this episode, we have to let people know the warnings, and there's another thing too, that this episode is going to be rated Nar. Me mateys.
You see, mateys, I lost me hand fighting a shark.
Oh my god!
I mean,
I was not taking a drink right there. I would have spit out everywhere.
So, trigger warning, guys. Disclaimer: this presentation is for educational purposes only. How you use this information is your responsibility. We will not be held accountable for any illegal activities. Warning: this video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who do not enjoy super awesomeness, so viewer discretion is advised. And under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission. Pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain uses of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. So take that, Zuckerdouche.
You've been warned.
Should we let people know who we're supporting when it comes to all that stuff?
Yeah. We already have announced it.
We did, right? Yeah, we 100% are supporting the Nightmare Clowns for the SAS and all stuff.
By the way, tell me when it's rated Hex.
Hexus.
Rated Hex.
After January 15th.
Is this the section with recipes?
Oh,
butt roasts.
The edibles kicked in. I'm like,
the butt roast.
Oh, I get it now. You're talking
roast.
about the cannibal.
The cannibal that we're going to be talking about in a few minutes here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So we are 100% throwing our support behind the Nightmare Clowns this year for our SAS. So, yeah. Go vote for them, guys. They are awesome. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out their shows, they are so much fun.
Where is my phone?
It's right in front of you, literally.
Oh, shit.
So, all right, let's get into this. So, last week we left off
Meanwhile,
when they were pulling out all of the the body parts and the barrels and stuff like that. So, here you go.
Look, the one thing we know about Dahmer is I don't think he ever pulled out of anything.
Okay. Anyway, they were talking about when they were getting all the barrels out of the house, the apartment. And then we are getting into the confession.
Mikey, did you ever see do you remember in the news media from back in the day when he got caught?
I don't remember the news media, but I have seen the actual footage of the apartment, the way it looks. Oh my god, that's freaking gross, man.
You heard that?
I don't think.
Did you hear the boom?
That's as gross as cartel killings and stuff like that in Mexico.
Well,
I mean that Dahmer compared to that stuff, man. That ain't shit.
The cartel killings, especially with well, I know you're talking about the
what I'm talking about is like when they're put in acid vats and stuff.
Oh yeah, it gets brutal.
Like that was way worse. I mean. I've seen all of it, man. I've seen all of it. I've gone to those gore sites and stuff, and I've seen a lot of those things and everything like that. It's seriously disturbing, man.
He had to think about what he wanted to do. He didn't want to destroy the bodies. He wanted to preserve the bodies and keep them. Whereas,
but then he started putting them in acid vats and stuff like that too, because like they started to smell bad or something like that. That's from what I hear, you know.
Yeah,
it's just
the cartel
wasn't all there.
The one, what was the Santos or Santo, the one who was doing Paulo Mayombe.
You're talking about what's his name, Constanzo.
Yeah, and Adolfo Constanzo. There you go. Yeah. And like, sorry,
you're fine.
Like all he did, his entire house was immaculate. I think he had actually a couple of them, and they're all immaculate. But when he got to his ganga room, it was just body parts, blood, filth everywhere because he had to feed the spirit within the ganga, and it wanted that. Supposedly is what he said. So okay, sorry.
I'm trying to bring up comments. So Calvin says he's a Sagittarius, so he's a dark sense of humor. Dizzy says BRB. Let me get my crew in here. Hell yeah! Yes, please.
And then here's Sykes.
Why am I expecting a zombie to jump out of that barrel? Brains. You might. He was trying to make zombies, so.
No, it's not a zombie. All of a sudden, Mikey comes up. Brains.
Hi, Alex. Happy New Year.
Send more cars. The Return of the Living Dead.
Hi, Henry.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Raven. Happy New Year. And thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Woo. Hey, Tony. Thank you.
Whoop, whoop.
Heck yeah. Hey, Natalie. Again. Love zombies. Me too. Hey, Dustin.
Dustin, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Shelby. God,
Shelby.
you guys are all awesome.
They're all here.
Awesome. All right, so let's get started here. So talking about the confession. So beginning in the early hours of July 23rd, 1991, Dahmer was questioned by Detective Patrick Kennedy as to the murders he had committed and the evidence found in his apartment. Over the following 2 weeks, Kennedy and later Detective Dennis Murphy, lots of Irishmen, conducted numerous interviews with Dahmer.
Milwaukee. So you're either going to get Germans or you're going to get Scandinavian, German, or Irish. That's it.
Yeah, basically. So he conducted numerous interviews with Dahmer, which, when combined, totaled 60 hours. Jeez.
He has some of the longest interviews on YouTube. You've seen some of them, Mikey, right? Like it goes on forever. Him and Kemper especially. It's one of my dark sides of me or whatever. Where I do like to go and listen to the interviews a couple times. You know, they're pretty neat. So
awesome. So Dahmer actually waived his right to have a lawyer present through the interrogations, adding he wished to confess all as he had created this horror, and it only makes sense. I do everything to put it to an end. He readily admitted to having murdered 16 young men in Wisconsin since '87, with one further victim, Stephen Hicks, killed in Ohio back in '78. Most of Dahmer's victims had been rendered unconscious prior to their murders, although some had died as a result of having acid or boiling water injected into their brains. And that was... well,
that's what we were talking about last episode, where the acid actually did potentially turn them into zombies. The boiling water, well, it cooked their brains and killed them almost immediately.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. We're doing great. Mikey's working on
it. When you guys talk about Dahmer and stuff like that, you know what's running through my head? American Horror Story Hotel.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's all what's running through my head right now. I don't remember when was it, a couple weeks ago. I started binging Hotel and stuff, and I started getting into that stuff. I was like, wow.
That's
Lady Gaga.
I like Monster, or no, what's it, Monster House and
Murder House.
Murder House, yeah. Those are the two I like.
The Hotel, it was talking all about, Dahmer and all the other serial killers and stuff like that.
All of them show up. Well, Dahmer,
Dahmer,
Zodiac,
Kemper,
the Zodiac. No, Gacy.
The Zodiac was in there,
and Eileen Warnos.
So was Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez too. Yeah.
Happy New Year. Hey, Angie. Happy New Year.
Hello, Angie.
Hello, Aaron. Do you see who it is?
Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Aaron, I saw James yesterday. I delivered to Five Guys. So, Five Guys. That didn't sound right. Five Guys is a chain in California, guys, of burger places.
Was Dahmer like Hannibal Lecter? No. He was more just trying to have somebody who would just stay with him. He was very lonely.
Hannibal Lecter was the character was a missionary killer. That's so.
American Horror Story is a good show. I'm rewatching it because I lost track of which season I was on. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Hey. Of course.
Thanks for saying. Oh yeah, no problem, man.
All right, so let's get back into this. So, excuse me for a moment. Here we go. Most of Dahmer's victims had been rendered unconscious prior to their murder, which we mentioned earlier. A couple of them were the acid in the brain after drilling a hole in there, or using boiling water. That guy actually died immediately, whereas the ones with the acid, it's hydrochloric acid, actually it took a few times because it would cauterize as it went in.
Well, yeah, it wasn't.
What do you mean by cauterize?
It didn't soak into the brain. It didn't. The cavity where it went in. That's where it stayed.
You know, like when somebody has such a deep cut that they have to burn it.
Yeah.
That's cauterized.
Now the boiling water on the other hand cooks it literally right when he started injecting it. It started cooking the brain.
Yeah.
You know.
And
so basically, slowly cooking the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So he had no memory of his second victim, Stephen Twomey. He was unsure whether he was unconscious when beaten to death, although he did concede it was possible that his viewing the exposed chest of Twomey while in a drunken stupor may have led him to unsuccessfully attempt to tear Twomey's heart from his chest. Almost all of the murders Dahmer committed after moving into the Oxford apartments had involved a ritual of posing the victims' bodies in suggestive poses, typically with the chest thrust outward prior to the dismemberment, obviously. So Dahmer readily admitted to engaging in necrophilia with several of his victims' bodies, including performing oral sex acts with their viscera. Yeah.
Oh.
As he was dismembering their bodies in the bathtub.
That is literally... Oh, okay, so I'm sorry. He basically had it in his mouth while he was doing this.
Yep.
Like, as in, like
their guts.
Like, well, I know he said oral sex there, but also, too, he, like, basically had a nervous habit of it while he's working on the body, just holding it into his mouth. Like he would a toothpick.
Yeah, basically. So having noted that much of the blood pooled inside the victim's chest after death, Dahmer first removed their internal organs, then suspended the torso so that the blood drained into the bathtub before dicing any organs he did not wish to retain and paring the flesh from the body. The bones he wished to dispose of were pulverized or acidified with Soilex and bleach solutions used to aid in the preservation of the skeletons and skulls that he wished to keep. In addition, Dahmer confessed to having consumed the hearts, livers, biceps, and portions of thighs of several victims that he had killed within the previous year.
Well, he
often
did eat...
tenderizing the flesh and organs prior to consuming them.
He did eat
with some condiments.
Healthy parts. So the heart and liver. The heart's pretty tough. I don't know. I do want to try heart soon.
So we have Aaron saying, "I'm too sexy for my steak." I for my steak.
Jim by the lake.
Apparently.
Well.
Calvin says there's 5 Guys in Indiana.
Oh. Maybe it was on the East Coast first. There's 5 Guys in a couple different spots. This is going to
go. There's no lotion on the skin before we get the hose again. No, there is not. We will get into the person who actually inspired both Buffalo Bill and Hannibal Lecter.
I'd fuck me hard.
Dahmer refused counsel during the initial interrogations, but I do believe
he had a lawyer.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do believe he had lawyers.
There's something we're gonna get into here in a little bit, like with Dahmer's mental condition when he was in prison. He started becoming more coherent.
He's all, "Oh my god, I'm trying to eat." Eat at 5 Guys. Yeah, I don't like 5 Guys all that much.
I don't mind it. I just don't want to spend $20 for the burger by itself.
Yeah, he was eating their entrails like spaghetti and meatballs. There you go. Calvin, as for recipes, here you go.
Like tripas. Did he make tripas tacos out of it?
Maybe.
He's going everything like that, making tripas.
It says he ate them with condiments, so
it could have been a little crema, a little.
I wonder if he used lemon.
Lemon and salt.
It's lemon in Texas. It's lime out here in California.
Actually, no, we eat lime here too.
So, describing the increase in his rate of killing in the 2 months prior to his arrest, Dahmer stated that he had been completely swept along with his compulsion to kill, adding, "It was an incessant and never-ending desire to be with someone at whatever cost. Someone good-looking, really nice-looking. It just filled my thoughts all day long."
He would have been eating my thighs, not going to lie. That's so gross.
So here's my question. Would you have gone home with him?
Me?
To take nudie pictures?
I probably would.
Because that's the way that he would have been eating your thighs.
He I think I could have been seduced by Dahmer. I'm not going to lie. As straight as I am.
I'm sorry, baby. That doesn't sound very
No,
strange.
I don't think any cannibal would want to eat me. I'll tell you that much.
I'm just the right size, you know. I'm plump, and I think I have some marbling in these in this meat. But
So, when asked why he had preserved a total of 7 skulls and the entire skeletons of 2 victims, Dahmer stated that he had been in the process of constructing a private altar of victims' skulls, which he had intended to display on the black table located in his living room, upon which he had photographed the bodies of so many victims. And I do have a photo of this.
Natalie, bring up Natalie's comment real fast.
So hold on, let's go. Give me a second. Let me bring up that real fast.
Okay.
So this is his altar plan.
Yeah.
With all the circles right there being skulls. That's the black table. It says black table.
Wait.
Those are the skeletons on either side.
You know the crazy thing? Look at the one on the right there.
It's posed.
Well, no, but it's almost standing. It's almost like Dahmer drew a stick figure himself, because that's kind of like how his neck is. He has that weird ostrich neck, and it's like
kind of.
Yeah.
I can't quite tell some of it. Oh, the window right there with something. What is that?
A curtain.
Oh, a lamp with.
Sorry.
A lamp with.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's enough.
I can't help it. Don't do that. I will end the show if you take my beer. I'm kidding.
A lamp with black lights. I can't tell what that says.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a drawing that Peter Griffin made.
It
yeah,
does.
but I mean, it was just his basic sketch of what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
All right.
So
let's get to some of the comments, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, and Natalie said, because it's not just.
Well, hold on. I got to get to the other ones. So he was eating their entrails like spaghetti and meatballs. Got to that one. Hope he didn't forget about Parmesan cheese. Sykes does not mind eating Five Guys. Dahmer liked them Slappy Joes. Because it's not just a sandwich, it's a manwich.
Hey, I wonder what kind of cheese Dahmer was using.
Oh, that was a land
Famunda?
Famunda cheese.
Angie, I have to puke now. Thanks. I'm back. Welcome back.
Oh yeah, there's no internet in Arizona.
A disco ball skull lamp. Yes.
Yes.
He's all
down.
skull fondue fountain.
Could you imagine if they had our tech with LEDs back in the 90s when Dahmer was doing this? He would have put LEDs all over it, man. It would have been so kind of cool. That sounds bad. I don't eat from.
Okay, so that was actually in response to I wonder what kind of cheese. I have the thing right here, and that was in response to him saying, hope he didn't forget the Parmesan. He said, don't you prefer Famunda? Which is funny because we were saying Famunda. So, all right, let's get back into this. So this display of skulls was to be adorned at each side with the complete skeletons of both Miller and Lacey. The 4 severed heads found in his kitchen were to be removed of all flesh and used in this altar, as was the skull of at least one future victim. Incense sticks were to be placed at each end of the black table, above which Dahmer intended to place a large blue lamp with extending blue globe lights. Oh, sorry, blue globe lights, not black lights. The entire construction was to be placed before a window covered with a black opaque shower curtain, in front of which Dahmer intended to sit in a black leather chair. When asked in a November 18, 1991 interview whom the altar was dedicated to, Dahmer replied, myself. It was a place where I could feel at home. He further described his intended altar as a place for meditation, from where he believed he could draw some sense of power, adding, if this arrest had happened 6 months later, that's what they would have found.
Could you, let's just say though, someone may actually made this in like a museum or something like that, or like a whatever, an exhibit or something like that. That'd actually look pretty freaking cool.
Well, you know,
like no joke.
When they were emptying out his house, they said it was more like emptying out very disturbing museum.
Yeah, I do.
What,
I think
like
I do
the
recall
Death
some of the
Museum
pictures
or
we took of the
something?
house. The what, Mikey?
I go, what, like the Death Museum over here? Like,
Kinda.
Yeah. Have you ever been in?
was it
Have
in
you ever
San
been in the
Antonio
Museum
or
of Death?
something? Yeah, I think
No,
we
there's
have a
one-
Museum of Death here in San Antonio.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was gonna say there's one in Louisiana, and there's one by the same owner at least. There's one in
I'm
Louisiana,
not
and
sure,
there's
but I
one here in
think we
LA.
do have a Museum of Death here in San Antonio.
The original one is in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and the same guy has one in Louisiana now.
Yeah.
So let's get into his indictment. On July 25th, 1991, Dahmer was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. By August 22nd, he had been charged with a further 11 murders committed in Wisconsin. On September 14th, investigators in Ohio, having uncovered hundreds of bone fragments in the woodland behind the address in which Dahmer had confessed to killing his first victim, formally identified 2 molars and a vertebrae that X-ray record, or excuse me, they formally identified the molars and the vertebra through X-ray records of Hicks. 3 days later, Dahmer was charged with Hicks's murder from Ohio. Dahmer was not charged with the attempted murder of Edwards, nor with the murder of Twomey. He was not charged with Twomey's murder because the Milwaukee County District Attorney only brought charges where murder could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. And Dahmer had no memory of actually committing this particular murder, for which no physical evidence of the crime existed. At a scheduled preliminary hearing on January 13th, 1992, Dahmer pled guilty but insane to 15 counts of murder.
That dude wasn't insane.
No, he
Actually,
very much so.
Yeah, he was.
This is where we're going to get into. Let's play the commercial fast, and we'll get into it, like the psychology and stuff behind him.
Oh God,
yeah.
Here comes Mikey.
No. All right.
This is Mikey from Out of the Ordinary, and you're watching PBDC TV.
Oh, hi. First thing in the morning, when I'm listening to music and getting a little bit of time for some creepy research, I'm always representing with my PBDC merch. What a better way to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Don't forget to check out our other cool merch at rootsbleedred.com. That's rootsbleedred.com.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
Awesome!
We're back.
And so Dizzy said, was it Dahmer that cut penises off? Yes, it was.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it was. And he also says, that makes my penis hurt.
Ouch.
Every guy does. Every time we think about it, I was like, no. I'm gonna go. I don't want to play no more. I'm going home. I don't want to play no more, guys.
Damn those fireworks. Okay, so Dahmer's trial began January 30th, 1992. He was tried in Milwaukee for the 15 counts of first-degree murder before Judge Lawrence Graham by pleading guilty on the 13th of January to the charges brought up against him. Dahmer had waived his rights to an initial trial to establish guilt, as defined in Wisconsin law. The issue debated by opposing counsels at Dahmer's trial was to determine whether he suffered either a mental or personality disorder. The prosecution claimed that any disorders did not deprive Dahmer of the ability to appreciate the criminality of his conduct or to deprive him of the ability to resist his impulses. The defense arguing that Dahmer suffered from a mental disease and was driven by obsessions and impulses that he was not able to control. Defense experts argued that Dahmer was insane due to his necrophilic drive, his compulsion to have sexual encounters with corpses. Defense expert Dr. Fred Berlin testified that Dahmer was unable to conform his conduct at the time that he committed the crimes because he was suffering from paraphilia, or more specifically, necrophilia. Dr. Judith Becker, a professor of psychiatry and psychology, was the second expert witness for the defense. Becker also diagnosed Dahmer as a necrophiliac, although she added Dahmer had informed her he preferred comatose sexual partners to deceased ones. 75% of the time. The final defense expert to testify, forensic psychiatrist Dr. Carl Wallstrom, diagnosed Dahmer with necrophilia, borderline personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder, alcohol dependency, and psychotic disorder. So I would like to get... Oh, I'll start here. So the prosecution rejected the defense's argument that Dahmer was insane. Forensic psychologist Dr. Philip Resnick testified that Dahmer did not suffer from primary necrophilia because he preferred live sexual partners, as evidenced by his efforts to create unrestrained submissive sexual partners,
even
devoid of rational thought.
Even the fact that he said, I prefer them to at least be comatose.
Yeah.
You know.
And those needs he did not have to cater. Another prosecution expert to testify, which was Dr. Fred Fosdell, testified that to his belief that Dahmer was without mental disease or defect at the time he committed murders. That's not possible to go in and out of it.
The crazy thing is right here is like the prosecution on this part is actually just arguing around in circles, going, "Well, yeah, he admits to all this stuff, but you know what? He wasn't a necrophile on accident. It was on purpose." It was like, yeah, dude, it doesn't matter. It just I know you're trying to get the maximum here, but still, he just admitted guilt.
Yeah. Well, so hold on. There's a tickle there. He described Dahmer as a calculating and cunning individual able to differentiate between right and wrong, with the ability to control his impulses. Although Fosdell did state his belief that Dahmer suffered from paraphilia, his conclusion was that Dahmer was not a sadist. So if you guys don't understand what I'm saying with paraphilia, that means a sexual attraction to something other than a human, live human being.
Yeah. Well, to what would be considered the societal norms at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The final witness to appear for the prosecution, forensic psychiatrist Park Dietz, began his testimony on February 12th. Dietz testified that he did not believe Dahmer to be suffering from any mental disease or defect at the time that he committed the crimes, stating Dahmer went to great lengths to be alone with his victim and to have no witnesses. He explained that there was simple evidence that Dahmer prepared in advance for each murder, therefore his crimes were not impulsive. Although Dietz did concede any accusation of paraphilia was not a matter of personal choice. He also stated his belief that Dahmer's habit of becoming intoxicated prior to committing each of the murders was significant, stating if he had an impulse to kill or a compulsion to kill, he wouldn't have to drink alcohol to overcome it. He only has to drink alcohol to overcome it because he is inhibited against killing. Dietz also noted that Dahmer strongly identified with the villains in The Exorcist 3 and Return of the Jedi, particularly the level of power held by these characters. Expounding on the significance of these movies on Dahmer's psyche and many of the murders committed at the Oxford apartments, Dietz explained that Dahmer occasionally viewed scenes from these films before searching for a victim. Dietz diagnosed Dahmer with a substance abuse disorder, paraphilia, schizotypal personality disorder. That's where it doesn't make sense. He's all, well, he didn't have them at the time, but he has these.
What does he have again?
So Dietz was trying to say that he didn't have the mental illnesses at the time, but he also he also agreed with the defense that he was schizotypal.
Yeah.
And he was paraphilic and had a substance abuse issue. But he's trying to say that he didn't at the time. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. But the way we want to get in here I want to get in here real fast is he at the time Dahmer started becoming medicated here.
Mm.
And Dahmer actually, when he was medicated, he didn't like what he did. And it's actually proof right here. Everyone agrees that Dahmer had to get wasted to kill somebody. He did not want to kill people. He did messed up things. He was a very messed up person, but he didn't want to kill people.
Yeah.
And once he was finally medicated and everything like that in prison, in jail and prison, like he started seeing what he did, and he's like, "No, I'm guilty. I deserve this." Yeah, and it's the crappy thing is too is when you actually watch him there, there is no emotion there. There isn't, but he does understand right from wrong, and he knew he was in the wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 2 court-appointed mental health professionals testifying independently of each other, or of either prosecution or defense, were forensic psychiatrist George Palmero and clinical psychologist Samuel Friedman. Palmero stated that the murders were the result of pent-up aggression within himself, citing Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
He killed those men because he wanted to kill the source of his homosexual attraction to them. In killing them, he killed what he hated in himself.
I don't
agree with that one.
I don't agree with that because he was if he hated himself for being gay, he wouldn't have gone to gay pride parades. Obviously, he was also going there to hunt for victims, but also he wouldn't have gone there just.
He never really showed insecurity about
he could have been in denial.
No, he was never in denial from the start. He was always like men and went after men. He never hid the fact that he was going to gay bars or anything like that. So I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, I really do disagree with this one. So Palmero concluded that Dahmer had a severe mixed personality disorder with antisocial, obsessive-compulsive, sadistic, fetishistic, borderline, and necrophilic features, but otherwise legally sane.
Yep.
Yeah, because all of that sounds legally sane, doesn't it?
Well, he did.
The only time that he would get insane and everything like that was when he was drunk, right?
Well,
no.
When he was in the membrane. He actually did see the fact that he saw that he was doing wrong and stuff like that, and he did take an effort to hide bodies and stuff like that. That's sanity right there. You have someone like Richard Chase, the Vampire Sacramento. That's insanity right there. That's just there was nothing. He couldn't stop himself from killing. He had to. Sorry.
Dahmer, the meaning of gobble gobble.
No gobble.
Oh, somebody was asking where Stephen P. Kitty Cat is. He's still on holiday.
He's on holiday.
You just turned me off to chicken. or the turkey. Andy, chicken wings, hot dog and bologna. Hey, when he eats the butt cheeks, is it like Christmas ham?
Well, and then Natalie made me laugh.
Sounds like something you would try tossing salad. Albert Fish like butt hams.
Okay, this popped
is true.
up. Henry, yeah, that is actually very true.
Christmas cheeks.
Right after. Henry Zabrowski from the last podcast on the left, and what am I watching right now with him? Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. I love that show. But when they're covering on last podcast on the left, they're covering Albert Fish, and Henry Zabrowski is actually reading his letters and stuff like that, like what he wrote.
We read them too.
No, but when he gets to the part where he's talking about it's just the way he said
The
fat
recipe.
bottoms. Yeah, they're fat bottoms. They're fat juicy bottoms. It creeped me out the way Henry Zabrowski read it, and like that brought Natalie's comment brought it right up in my head. I was like, that was a good one.
Maybe a multiple personality. One was cognizant and the other not so much. Yeah, that's possible.
As long as he was sober, the other one couldn't come out. So
that would be a bad day. I love you. Can I have your tallywhacker? Angie says, "How are you, Mikey?"
Oh, I'm good.
Good. I don't think I want to know what he did with the genitalia. Well, if you had tuned in a couple weeks ago, I did mention
he preserved them.
I wonder if
Painted one of them silver. No joke.
He did. He preserved them.
I wonder if he made chili dogs.
Yeah, he had preserved them and spray painted them.
Do you think he ever performed the Dirty Sanchez?
Well, he probably I wonder how many foot-long chili cheese dogs he made.
Well, he had a silver one. He painted his favorite one silver.
Painted it silver. So Friedman testified that it was a longing for companionship that caused Dahmer to kill, which this is way more accurate. He stated Mr. Dahmer is not psychotic. I don't agree with that. He spoke kindly of Dahmer, describing him as amiable, pleasant to be with, courteous, and with a sense of humor, conveniently conventionally handsome, and charming. He was and still is a very bright young man. He diagnosed Dahmer with a personality disorder not otherwise specified, featuring borderline obsessive-compulsive and sadistic traits. The trial lasted 2 weeks. On February 14th, both counsels delivered their closing arguments to the jury. Each counsel was allowed to speak for 2 hours. Defense attorney Gerald Boyle argued first, repeatedly harking to the testimony of the mental health professionals, almost all of whom had agreed that he was suffering from a mental disorder. Boyle argued that Dahmer's compulsive killings had been the result of a sickness he discovered, not chose. Boyle portrayed Dahmer as a desperately lonely and profoundly sick individual, so out of control that he could not conform his conduct anymore, which I agree with that statement. Following the defense counsel's 75-minute closing argument, Michael McCann delivered his closing argument for the prosecution, describing Dahmer as a sane man, in full control of his actions, who simply strove to avoid detection. McCann described Dahmer as a calculating individual who killed to control his victims and retain their bodies, merely to afford himself a prolonged period of sexual pleasure. McCann argued that by pleading guilty but insane to the charges, Dahmer was seeking to escape responsibility of his crimes. It's weird because I agree to both.
That one right there I do very much agree to, with the exception of with this fact right here. He knew there was something wrong with him, and at the time it was the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He knew he could have went and gotten help and gotten medicated,
but he didn't. So,
and it wasn't until when he finally got medicated, you could, like I said, there's no emotion there, but he does know, okay, I deserve this,
So I'm going to go through a few things. What was Jeffrey Dahmer's mental disorder, and why do you think he had this problem? This is a little bit of an overview of Jeffrey Dahmer's mental profile. Give me a minute. Let me pull this up properly. There we go. Jeffrey Dahmer was diagnosed by a psychiatrist, Dr. Wallstrom, as cited in I can't read that.
Where
It's
are you
very
at?
Greek. Giannakis.
It is very Greek.
During his trial,
It's so Greek. It's you like lamb.
I love lamb.
Greek.
During his trial, who diagnosed him with, as psychotic and a sadist manic who was suffering from a long duration of mental illnesses for which he never received care. Further, he stated that Dahmer displayed fantasies, aggressiveness, and angry feelings towards men because he wanted to kill his attraction for them. In doing so, he felt he could destroy all parts of him. Now, I believe that this was completely wrong.
Yeah.
That statement right there that was actually, yes, that was stated. I don't agree with it.
Excuse me, sorry. I'm sorry.
Another physician, Dr. Dietz, described Dahmer as sane and described him as paraphilic. Okay.
Sorry, I have
Sorry about that.
Ooh, someone's getting the Rona.
Maybe.
So, but not as a sadist, since he tried to avoid suffering of his victims. For example, he provided them with sedatives and alcohol and stuff like that. Now, mind you, this is from Brain Mass. I don't necessarily agree with it, but this is also partially from criminalpsychologist.net.
I am so sorry.
What beer are you drinking? Tony would like to know.
Oh,
what beer are you drinking?
Boomer Bust from Dionysus Brewing Company here in Dionysus Brewing here in Bakersfield, California. It's a very stouty stout.
All right. So, what was Dahmer's age, gender, drug, and alcohol history, goals, coping skills, and weaknesses? Dahmer was born Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer on May 21st, 1960. He was a male child with a normal childhood. Not really. After
a little bit, yeah.
High school, he was literally abandoned.
It was still the normal childhood until up until that point.
So after birth, it is reported that he had some problems with his legs and was immobilized for up to 4 months. However, based on his biography, he grew up as a healthy, beautiful child and had normal achievements for his age. However, as he grew older, he became withdrawn and uncommunicative. Jeffrey Dahmer is described as showing little to no interest in hobbies or social interaction by the time that he was 10 to 15. For coping skills, he became interested in dead animals and began to deal with alcohol during his high school years. He continued to drink heavily, which was a weakness. As following high school, he was eventually kicked out of the military because of his addiction to alcohol.
He was quite literally taking shots in class.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Just chugging it right there in class. And at the time, no teacher really they were like, whatever, we don't care.
So apparently his mother's dad was actually severely alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
So there's a genetic
What I want to know is that maybe when he was small, the reason why he got all those tendencies and stuff, like maybe when he was small, he got violated or something. Who knows? He probably got he was probably too small to remember, but
hey, Rob.
It kind of like
hey,
comes into my thoughts because I'm thinking like how he had all that whole thing about the gay and everything like that. It could
that's
be
the thing. They are very, very incorrect about him trying to kill the gay.
Yeah,
no. But what I mean is that like maybe that's why he started liking men and everything like that too. Because I mean, it could have been to it that he was violated to where he didn't remember when he was little.
He never said whether he did or didn't. He just that happened or not, and the parents never said that happened. So that's why they're kind of assuming.
Well, they're not going to say that it happened because I mean they're probably just messed up as they.
I just think he was born gay.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was touched or anything.
No.
But I just think I actually he's one of the ones that's kind of like a weird tragic one because he showed signs. This little quick thing on it. He did show signs of having mental disorders at a very young age.
Yeah.
Including like dissociative disorders.
Yeah.
And antisocial disorders. And so, especially with him realizing that he was gay, it wasn't that he was trying to get away from being gay. It was more that he was trying to find somebody who wasn't going to leave him. And that aspect of his disorders came from when he was abandoned by his parents while they were getting a divorce.
Yeah. That sounds about right there because of his abandonment issues.
Mm-hmm. So, was there history of mental problems or symptoms? Reports on Dahmer's childhood appear to contribute to some of his mental problems, and they're attributed to his mother. They did say that she was taking certain pregnancy drugs to help with the morning sickness, which we do know has around that time was causing a lot of issues with people.
Yeah.
But also we had spoken earlier about how she had the classic signs of being bipolar 1.
Yeah.
Right.
And that leads all down to him. That's very hereditary too.
Wow.
There's a lot of people just came in right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get the comments real fast.
Bye, Tony.
Later, Tony. No, he said he's drinking natty. Oh, he asked what
he says. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's drinking natty. Are you drinking nasty ice right now?
Yep.
That's what we call over here.
Hello, Pogo.
Hey, Pogo.
Hey, Pogo. Alrighty.
What is it?
Oh, one of the Nightmare Clowns is going to go live soon.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Sorry, we're mowing through them right now.
Sorry to cut this short. Yep, no problem. No, have a wonderful day. And go support these guys, Nightmare Clowns. Mikey, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking? Puro pinche Bud Light a la verga.
I got some.
I'm drinking Bud Light cheladas, man.
I got some. What's the ones we have in there? No, Dos Equis.
Modelo.
No, Modelo. What do we have in there? Cheladas.
Those are good.
We got the Modelo micheladas.
Micheladas are pretty good.
Yeah. Syke says, think if Dahmer and Gacy had a bastard child. Now, logistically, I got to figure this one out.
No, actually.
Who had the uterus?
More like.
Hey,
Munchie! Mm-hmm.
All right. Whoop, whoop. Look at this. Okay.
There's everyone's going through right now.
All right, so let's go. We have one. We're probably going to go a little bit over real fast.
Let's go into his death because he was convicted. And then the imprisonment, we know what happened here, but let's get into his death and what happened to him.
So when he was sentenced, he was... Oh, hold on. Let's go up here real fast.
Milwaukee prison.
So we did not finish.
Where do we
on February 15th, the court reconvened to hear the verdict. Dahmer was ruled to be sane and not suffering from a mental disorder at the time of each of the 15 murders. 2 of the 12 jurors signified their dissent. Formal sentencing was postponed until February 17th. On this day, Dahmer's attorney announced his client wished to address the court. Dahmer then approached the podium and read from a statement prepared by himself and his defense as he faced the judge. In the statement, Dahmer emphasized that he had never desired freedom following his arrest, and that he frankly wished for his own death. He further stressed that one of his murders had been motivated by hatred, and that he understood that nothing he either said nor did could undo the terrible harm that he had caused to the families of his victims and the city of Milwaukee. And that he and his doctors believed his criminal behavior had been motivated by mental disorders. Dahmer added that his medical knowledge had given him some peace, and that although he understood that society would never forgive him, he hoped that God would. Dahmer closed his statements with the following. I know my time in prison will be terrible, but I deserve whatever I get because of what I have done. Thank you, Your Honor. I am prepared for your sentence, which I know will be the maximum. I ask for no consideration.
Yeah, he is probably the only serial killer who's ever actually come to.
I was gonna ask, did you guys ever see that video of that one girl that went hysterical on Dahmer's case?
I saw. There was a few of them that did.
There's a few people that went hysterical during the case and everything like that. You got to look them up.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was bad.
Well. So after this, he just returned to his seat to get sentencing, by the way.
Yeah, he literally just sat there. He knew he was going to go through this. And this is where I say he's tragic, because if for a second there, he would have went out and just got the help that he needed and got put on the right meds,
Mhm.
which the reason why I say they probably would have got it right from the start, because when he got in prison, they put him on the right meds almost immediately, which is impossible for a prison to do. They usually just mess up everything or whatever.
Mhm.
They got him on the right meds, and he started understanding what he did and became more sane, And so if they would have actually done this from a young age, none of this would have happened. None of it would have happened. He would have been
Well, I mean, you got to consider that back in those days, man, like they weren't much aware of like the mental illness thing like they are now, and
Yeah.
They were becoming more aware at the
right
moment,
now.
but-
They're still improving on it, but I mean, yeah, if they would have put him on meds back then and everything like that, like they do with everybody now, he probably wouldn't have done all this. He probably
No.
would have been
if he would have therapy,
society.
if it was therapy and stuff like that, talking to someone, I don't think I really believe Dahmer probably would never have done this stuff. And
Probably not.
Maybe a couple violent acts.
That's exactly what I'm saying is that he wouldn't have done none of this shit if he would have just, if mental health was more, they were more aware of the mental health and everything like that of people back then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so Dahmer was sentenced to life imprisonment plus 10 years for each of the first 2 counts, with the remaining 13 counts carrying a mandatory minimum sentence of life imprisonment plus 70 years.
Yeah.
The death penalty was not an option for Judge Graham to consider at the penalty phase, as Wisconsin had abolished capital punishment in 1853. Upon hearing of Dahmer's sentencing, his father, Lionel, and stepmother, Sherry, requested to be allowed a 10-minute private meeting with their son before he was transferred to Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage to begin his sentence. This request was granted, and the trio exchanged hugs and well wishes before Dahmer was escorted away. 3 months after his conviction in Milwaukee, Dahmer was extradited to Ohio to be tried for the murder of his first victim, Stephen Hicks, in a court hearing that lasted only 45 minutes. Dahmer pled guilty to the charges and was sentenced to a 16th life imprisonment sentence.
Yeah,
on
because
May
I
1st.
don't think Ohio has the death penalty either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So let's get over here.
So
I
the
got a
imprisonment.
question to ask.
Yeah.
When somebody's sentenced like in different states, how does that work? That I've always wanted to figure, how does that work? Like,
I think it comes down to
one, or
I think it comes down to, well, that's what it might. I think that's where it either goes over federal, or it's just one state says no, whatever, you try them. We know we're gonna get a guilty verdict out of it. You just go ahead and try and get it done. Now, when it considering the death penalty, if say he went back to the other state and got the death penalty, he would have to be transferred over there because he has to put to death. Yeah.
So
that's always been in my mind there.
Mm-hmm.
While in prison, when he was transferred to Columbia Correctional Institution, for the first year, Dahmer was placed in solitary due to concerns for his physical safety when he came in contact with fellow inmates.
Yeah.
With Dahmer's consent, after 1 year in solitary, he was transferred to a less secure unit where he was assigned a 2-hour daily work detail to clean the toilet block. He became, after completing this lengthy confessions, in 91, Dahmer had requested to Detective Murphy to be given a copy of the Bible. This request was granted, and he devoted himself to Christianity, became a born-again Christian. His father's urging, he also read creationist books from the Institute for Creation Research. In May of 94, Dahmer was baptized by Roy Ratcliffe, who was a minister of the Church of Christ and a graduate from Oklahoma Christian University. He was baptized in the prison whirlpool. Following his baptism, Radcliffe visited Dahmer on a weekly basis up until November 1994. Dahmer and Ratcliffe regularly discussed the prospect of death. Dahmer questioned whether he was sinning against God by continuing to live. Referring to his crimes in a 94 interview with Stone Phillips on Dateline NBC, Dahmer had stated, if a person doesn't think that there is a God to be accountable to, then what's the point of trying to modify your behavior to keep within the acceptable ranges? That's how I thought anyway.
Well, he actually...
That's what he used to think is what he said.
I'm sorry. Right there, I know it means practically nothing to say that, but it kind of shows that maybe there is remorse in him, which is very rare for a serial killer, because usually they just feel shame for what they did, not remorse.
So Nellie says that they move them sometimes to serve out sentences per each state,
okay.
And death penalty, not sure.
I would imagine though, like the death penalty, if the state that like if someone gave them a death penalty, if that's what state where they're going to be moved to, and just basically kept there until they're on death row, because it's, if you think about it, it's less cost, so with that, and that's where they're going to go.
Calvin says he has a jar of moonshine, man. I could sure use
Bring that shine over. Bring me some of that shine.
That'll definitely kill what's in me.
Mm-hmm. So on July 3rd, 1994, a fellow inmate, Osvaldo Durruti, attempted to slash Dahmer's throat with a razor embedded in a toothbrush as Dahmer sat in the prison chapel after a weekly church service was concluded. Dahmer received superficial wounds and was not seriously hurt in this incident. According to Dahmer's family, he had long been ready to die and accepted any punishment which he might endure in prison. In addition to his father and stepmother maintaining regular contact, his mother, Joyce, also maintained regular contact with her son, although prior to his arrest, the two had not even seen each other since Christmas of '83.
Crazy thing with all this, it took all this to happen for his parents to finally be there in his life.
I hear all this stuff about Dahmer and everything like that. I don't condone his killings or anything like that, but I do feel sorry for him.
Exactly.
How he went down. Like he knew what he did and he was ready to die. And he's like, I'm going to accept what I did. He's literally the example of manning up to something he did.
Mm-hmm.
He manned up to it. He didn't run away. He didn't deny. He totally just hit it right there. Like man up, to what you did and stuff. I said, and I tell the viewers here right now, I don't condone what he did. I'm not saying that, what he did was right, but at least he manned up to what he did.
Absolutely.
He wasn't a bitch or he wasn't a pussy about what he did or anything like that. Like some of these idiots out there.
He was a regular Norteño del Norte. I'm just kidding.
So, Joyce related that in her weekly phone calls, whenever she expressed concerns for her son's physical well-being, Dahmer responded with comments to the effect of, "It doesn't matter, Mom. I don't care if something happens to me now."
Well, this was saying like what I was going to say with the attack where he was in the chapel.
Yeah.
It wasn't him who pushed the guy off of him. It was someone else intervening and stopping it.
Yeah. He
was ready to die from the minute he got to prison. So Rob Pogo, he's all
okay. Well, here it says, "I'm drinking sparkling grape juice," and she does. Natalie says, "Drinking coffee, always coffee."
I love coffee.
And Pogo says, "I'm breathing helium and sounding like a munchkin." And hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Yo, tell that dude that's inhaling helium to pass me some over here, man. Or pass me at least a whippet or something.
So, death. On the morning of November 28th, 1994, Dahmer left his cell to conduct his assigned work detail. Accompanying him were two fellow inmates, Jesse Anderson and Christopher Scarver. That's the name you need to pay attention to. The trio were left unsupervised in the showers of the prison gym for approximately 20 minutes. At approximately 8:10 a.m., Dahmer was discovered on the floor of the bathroom of the gym, suffering from extreme head wounds. He had been severely bludgeoned about the head and suffering, and his face with a 20-inch metal bar. His head had also been repeatedly struck against the wall in the assault. Although Dahmer was still alive and rushed to a nearby hospital, he was pronounced dead 1 hour later. Anderson had also been beaten with the same instrument and died 2 days later from his wounds. Scarver, who was serving a life sentence for a murder that was committed in 1990, informed authorities that he had first attacked Dahmer with the metal bar as Dahmer was cleaning a staff locker room before attacking Anderson, as Anderson had cleaned the inmate locker room. According to Scarver, Dahmer did not yell or make noise when he was attacked. Immediately after attacking both men, Scarver, who was thought to be schizophrenic, returned to his cell and informed the prison guard, "God told me to do it. Jesse Anderson and Jeffrey Dahmer are dead." Scarver was adamant that he had not planned the attacks in advance, although he later divulged to investigators that he had concealed the 20-inch iron bar used to kill both men in his clothing shortly before the killings. Upon learning of his death, Dahmer's mother responded angrily to the media. Now is everybody happy? Now that he's bludgeoned to death? Is that good enough for everyone? The response of the families of Dahmer's victims was mixed, although it appears most were pleased with the death. The district attorney who prosecuted Dahmer cautioned against turning Scarver into a folk hero, noting that Dahmer's death was still murder.
Yeah.
On May 15th, 1995, Scarver was sentenced to 2 additional terms of life imprisonment for the murders of Dahmer and Anderson.
Now, while they were doing this, there were guards out there. And now there was, obviously he was schizophrenic and he did this. And it wasn't like the guards set it up, but the COs could literally stop this.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. They just let it go. They
saw one thing about prison and everything like that. And I mean, I've never been in there, but I've heard that things about prison and everything like that from prisoners that they do a lot of things in silence too, man. Like,
yeah,
I know Dahmer got bludgeoned to death, but I mean, like, that stuff is like done in seconds, man. Like, you don't.
Well, they do, but here's the thing. This was Dahmer was cleaning the staff locker rooms, not the prisoners' locker rooms or whatever. The staff, meaning there were guards right there present.
Meaning that there were guards that just allowed
They
it.
literally were right there watching everything. There's because that's how you can smuggle things in.
Well, they said that they walked away for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it does seem sus right there, but I mean,
exactly.
So I guess we'll end this with a list of the victims. So his first I'm going to do this in order. 1978, June 18th, Stephen Mark Hicks, 18. 1987, November 20th, Stephen Walter Twomey, 25. 1988, January 16th, James Edward Doxtitter, 14. And March 24th, Richard Guerrero, 22. 1989, March 25th, Anthony Lee Sears, 24. 1990, May 20th, Raymond Lamont Smith, 32. June 14th, Edward Warren Smith, 27. September 2nd, Ernest Marquez Miller, 22. September 24th, David Courtney Thomas, 22. 1991, February 18th, Curtis Durrell Strouder, 17. April 7th, Errol Lindsay, 19. May 24th, Tony Anthony Hughes. Yeah, I know. 31. He was deaf mute, by the way.
Oh, wow.
May 27th, Conorak Synthosamphone. He was 14.
Damn.
June 30th, Matt Cleveland Turner, 20. July 5th, Jeremiah Benjamin Weinberger, 23. July 15th, Oliver Joseph Lacey, 24. He's one of the ones that he kept the skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
July 19th, Joseph Arthur Bredehoft, 25. And that was it. That was his last victim.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that was actually found in the 57-gallon drum.
All right. Wow. I guess we got to ask the question, Mikey. Hey, dog. What do you got? What do you got next? What do you got next?
Hey, fam. I just wanted to plug this, my fam. You know, because we're family. You know. Tuesday. This next Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about the Dallas Buyers Club of Ronald Dixon Woodruff, the founder of the Dallas Buyers Club. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about Tuesday. So
I know you're going to get into it, but this guy actually kind of helped. He helped the whole HIV. Is that what we're talking about?
Don't.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of other stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of other stuff, and you need to. This got to be.
He helped the research. That's what I was like. He did a lot of good.
Be kept behind wraps because I don't want to release anything. But there's a lot of stuff that I learned, who he fought against, and we will see that on Tuesday.
Nice.
But yes, out of the ordinary.
We at Roots.
Real fast. Pogo might upload a video of him breathing helium.
That'd be awesome.
Just saying. Go ahead.
That's one of the things I miss about working at the pizza place I used to work at. We had helium on tap. I worked at it was a small mom and pop pizza place here in Bakersfield, but they like to give out balloons, so we had helium on tap, and we were like the whole time just like
I think that's why they stopped That's why they took down putting helium balloons over there in the supermarkets here.
Yeah, pretty much
because of me.
But no, so Mikey's gonna be on Tuesday. We're gonna be. I know a few of us are gonna be on break until January 15th. We're gonna be like random,
maybe a little bit later, but yeah.
But January 15th,
me right now, if I may, basically me, I'm gonna be just like you all, random right now. I mean, like this just popped up in my head, and that's why I'm doing it, because it's been a while since I've been on and everything. I know all the people miss me and everything like that, so here I come. Yeah, get ready for me.
No, but we have everything. This is basically like the holiday season. You have everybody. Everyone coming in, the holidays, families all here right now for the next couple weeks, stuff like that. And January 15th, we're all back.
So I wanted to address Natalie's comment. I didn't realize some of his victims were so young. Yeah. The 14-year-old Laotian man or boy.
He's from Laos.
Synthesophone.
That's the one.
He's the one that he had drilled a hole into his head and injected hydrochloric acid. After the first injection, he was still able to escape, albeit butt naked, and run off and try to find some help. Now, those police officers were not helpful in that situation and literally told the people trying to help him, who called the police, to back off and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And Dahmer was able to come up with an entire story about how he was his 19-year-old lover and he was a little drunk and they had a spat, and totally didn't explain why he had a hole in his head, blood on his balls, blood on his dick.
Yeah.
Now,
here's the thing. If Dahmer really hated himself for being gay, right there, he would have been like, "Oh, I adopted him," or something like that. It would have been like, and I've been looking for him. He ran out. It wouldn't have been this whole, "That's my gay boyfriend. He's 19. We were just having some fun here."
He was so blunt about it too.
Yeah. He was very much, very much proud of basically being gay. So
Pogo says, "It's good to see you guys. It's been a while. Much love and respect to you all. Have a good new year. See you all again soon. Cheers from Mr. and Mrs. Pogo, the Australian clan community."
Clown community. You just
I said community.
So I'm sorry. They are in the future. Mm-hmm. They're already in 2022. Think about that right now. They are in 2022, and we are still in 2021 right now.
How did he explain the drill? They didn't. Nobody ever even acknowledged it, except for the women. Who the cops told to shut up.
The only thing I can think of is that, like we said last episode, it coagulated and just looked like a fresh scab.
Yeah.
And because it was literally, I think it was like literally right down in here. So
it was right here.
Yeah.
Hey, Natalie isn't too far into the future already. She's already going to be in the future.
Yeah, she's
hour away.
It's already
she's almost 45 minutes away
right here.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, Mikey, thank you. What?
When we come back in after January 15th, there is something very, very big coming.
Well, we said that last night.
I know, what I'm saying it again. Something very big coming, and you guys are very much going to like it. I promise you guys this. It's going to be awesome.
So again, Mikey, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you back and get better.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm already feeling a lot better. I think the alcohol is working.
At least you didn't lose your sense of taste and smell, man.
That's the thing that I was glad about. I was like,
oh my God.
Thank God I did not lose my sense of taste and smell.
The Omicron Persei 8 virus apparently doesn't do that.
No, but
I'll tell you this much, though. The pains felt like I had shingles.
Yeah.
It felt like I had shingles. All my back was burning like hell. I still felt pressure in my chest and stuff. But let me tell you this much: NyQuil, garlic, zinc, vitamin C, that shit will take it away like that.
Curry.
And
Curry.
you left it out. I'm sorry. You left it out. Vicks Vapor Rub on the soles of your feet.
Always.
You know
With
what?
sock on.
I still haven't gotten a chance to get the Vicks. But still, I mean, I'm pretty sure that works too.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Mother
Let me go
Devil, for
back
last
in
night.
there. You know what? Actually, give me a second here.
The bunnies of chaos are coming for you. The bunnies of chaos are coming for you.
Good morning.
All right, guys.
They needed to make one more appearance before the year was out.
We're out. See you next year, guys.
See you next year. Bye.
Peace, happy.